There really are times that we find ourselves with clothes that we really like, but just one thing spoils it for us, and that's the sleeve option. You know, maybe the sleeves look okay, but we want it to look even better. Or they have no sleeves and we want to add sleeves to them for either comfort or just to cover up those parts that we don't really want to show. We're going to work together to include sleeves to this sleeveless dress. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go. Hello, my name is Juliet Uzor of sewsonatural.com, where we work together to demystify the art of sewing clothes. So what I would really recommend is to go through your sewing pattern stash. We all have that sleeve that we really love, and we love the look of it, the shape of it, and the way it just suits us nicely. Go into that sewing stash and pick it out. But then the sleeves that you select have to be just your regular set-in sleeves. Unpick the seam of your actual sleeveless dress. So if it has lining, facing, bias, binding, you just need to go on the inside and unpick it and bring out that seam allowance to the outside. And so we need it to be back to the basics. At this point, what I'm doing is measuring the armhole of the existing garment. So it's best to measure it to know exactly what the circumference of the armhole is, and I have identified the measurements of the armhole, and now I need to make sure I record it somewhere. The garment you have was designed to be sleeveless. So if it was designed to be sleeveless, you would have to do some tweaking to just make sure things fit. What I'm doing now after tracing is I need to just go back and include the seam allowance around the sleeve cap, just exactly as it came from the pattern. We do not need to measure the seam allowance along the side of the sleeve. We just need the sleeve cap, like the measurements around that part that's going to fit around the armhole. At this point, I am drawing some lines down, and I've also measured how long I want my sleeves to be. So when you draw the length of the sleeve, you draw a line to signify where you want the sleeve to end. Then you cut out the actual sleeves. Now I am cutting out those lines that I drew going down the sleeve from the sleeve cap, and then I cut it out. I cut all the way through it because we're going to be spreading them apart so that the sleeve would fit into the armhole. I didn't show this part, but you need to remember to label the different parts so you would know what order to put them in. So I've put them at, I think it was about 2 centimeters, and made sure all of them had the same measurements between them. And then I went back and I measured along the seam allowance. So you see that is a stitch line really. So I go around the stitch line just to check that it would measure up to give me the exact measurement that I got from my armhole. And after a bit of maneuvering and moving back and forth, I got things stuck down. Yeah, so you see I've moved this one around now and brought it back to where it should be. And then after all the maneuvering, we go back and draw in a new sleeve, like a sleeve cap sort of thing. So you can see that I'm using the curved part of my ruler just to adjust things, rub out any mistakes. And there are certain parts that I couldn't do with my ruler, so I just did it by hand. So it takes a lot of tweaking until you get it right. But it measured out to give me 60 centimeters. Oh no, actually no, it wasn't 60 centimeters. It was slightly more than 60 centimeters. So I thought, okay, I'll leave it like that so that I can add a bit of a gather at at the shoulder. So this is the part where you choose what fabric comes as close as possible to your to the already made garment. It needs to be close as possible in weight as well. So I chose the one with the right color as well, so I could wear it as just a white top. But I could have used any of those fabrics that I chose, to be honest, because if I wanted to go a bit jazzy, I would have used the watercolor style fabric. But I just went with the white because it was so close to it, and I thought, yeah, I actually need a white top, so a white top with sleeves. Yeah, the sleeve won't be perfect because remember again, it wasn't designed to go with the top. Also, you need to sew a gathering stitch just to gather it up a bit so you can ease it into the armhole easily. Oh, I've got a guest. My daughter's always coming in and out when I'm sewing, but she's used to it. I might go too fast. I don't care about those limits. So I had to increase my stitch length all the way to the longest stitch length, and that's the stitch length that I used for gathering it up, just to ease it into the armhole of the existing garment. No need for raw edges, so in using your preferred method, go and finish off your raw edges. And I used my overlocker for this, but you can use whatever method you prefer. A zigzag stitch on your sewing machine, pinking shears, whatever it is. Okay, so what you now need to do is gradually take your time at this point, match up the side seams, and then you need to, pin or attach the sleeve to the armhole. That gathering stitch came in really handy because it enabled me to, fit it in nicely and make sure things fitted exactly the way that I wanted them to fit. It's just going to be your usual, sew using the seam allowance that came along with the actual top and the sleeve. Luckily, my sleeve came with a 1 centimeter seam allowance, and the top that I picked from the shop had a 1 centimeter seam allowance as well. A tip for anyone who is unsure about that would be to just when you measure out, if one is a bit bigger than the other, just adjust it by trimming things off a bit, just to make sure both of them match. And I just took it over to the overlocker to finish off the raw edges, and then it's time to hem the sleeve. I opted for a very, a simple 2 centimeter hem, nothing fancy. I'll leave a link to this measuring gauge that can be pressed over. I'll leave a link to the pressing tool for measuring. I'll leave it in the description box below. I found it really useful. I've been using it for the past few weeks now, and I've really enjoyed using it. So I thought I'll put a link for it in the description box below, just in case you would like to grab one for yourself.
I might go too fast. I don't care about those.
The next thing that you need to do now is to watch this video here I have on the screen, showing you how to hack a basic sleeve pattern into a statement melon style sleeves. They're very dramatic actually, but I hope to see you over at that video. Enjoy the rest of your day and all the very best. Take care. Bye.